Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will discuss about a regional grouping that is called Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. What is the context? Let's see, why was the Quad in news? Quad had its meeting of foreign ministers in Melbourne, that is Australia. Melbourne is in Australia, and India's Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, spoke at the meeting and he discussed some of the key issues. In the coming part of the video, we will discuss what was the discussion about and what happened. Let's see the history of Quad. When was it constituted and why was it constituted? It was in the year 2007 when Japanese Prime Minister Mr. Shinzo Abe proposed an idea called Quad. Okay, it was in the year 2007. But from 2007 to 2017, there was no progress on this idea. And in 2017, as a part of ASEAN Summit, all the 4 countries agreed to revive quadrilateral alliance to counter China. The factor of China is important when it comes to the objective of Quad. Let's see what is the objective of Quad. Quad is the diplomatic and military agreement to unanimously counter Chinese economic and military aggression. This means the entire issue of constituting and the objective of Quad revolves around a country called China. Okay, China. And Quad also promises to have freedom of navigation and also rule-based order. These are the 2 things that you need to remember. One thing that is important in objective is the Chinese aggression. Second one, freedom of navigation. And the third one is about rule-based order. You might recall that China is creating artificial islands in South China Sea. South China Sea. China is creating artificial islands and hindering the freedom of navigation. It is using the maritime, that is exclusive economic zone, for its commercial purposes and is violating the rule-based order. There was a case on this in United Nations Conservation and the Laws of Sea, UNCLOS. The judgment of UNCLOS was against China, and UNCLOS ordered China to stop all its aggression in South China Sea. Even then, China did not agree and is carrying on its expansion. This is what is meant by, in order to promote rule-based order. There should be a single rule and there should be equality and there should not be a monopoly. Okay. Now let's see what is the highlight of the meeting. What was the highlight of the meeting? Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said there is an insurgency among Indo-Myanmar border. You all know the situation in the present day Myanmar, how is the military government is taking over the administration from democratically elected government. But India stressed on the insurgency in Indo-Myanmar border and also the death of Colonel and his wife and his children couple of months back. Okay, you might remember, because of such an insurgency, Colonel lost his life and his family. So there is a grave situation along the border, and India is committed to restoration of peace in Myanmar, and India opposes sanctions on Myanmar. See, India is the neighbor of Myanmar, so if there are sanctions on Myanmar, it might deteriorate the economic relations and also the diplomatic relations that we have with Myanmar. So Indian Foreign Minister outrightly said that India opposes the sanctions on Myanmar, but India is committed to the restoration of peace in the country. Second one, foreign minister maintained a complete diplomatic silence on Russian threat to invade Ukraine. You all are aware of the Russian expansion policy. Russia already has annexed Crimea, which was a part of Ukraine, and now Russian forces are along the borders. So, in spite of such an emergency situation, foreign minister maintained a complete silence on the Russian invasion on Ukraine because India and Russia are said to be all-weather friends, which means from 1947 till 2022 till date, Russia has been a great supporter and also military equipment supplier to India. Almost 62% of Indian defense imports are from Russia, and Russia is one of the greatest partners that India has. India doesn't want to upset Russia by commenting on Ukraine. Okay, this is the reason why the foreign minister maintained a complete silence on Russian invasion on Ukraine. Next one, Quad statement said that the entire 4 countries of Quad are against terrorist safe havens, and also cross-border terrorism, which is a great concern for India. By doing this, all the 3 other countries made sure that they stand with India when it comes to cross-border terrorism and state financing terrorism and states that provide safe havens to terrorists. Next one, US is considering Indo-Pacific as important to itself, and this is happening at the time of Russia and Ukraine conflict. See, in Central Asia and Europe, Russian invasion on Ukraine is said to be a greatest threat to peace. Even during such a grave situation to international security, US is considering Indo-Pacific as important and is participating in the meeting in Melbourne. Moreover, the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken himself has attended the meeting, and this proves that Indo-Pacific and the Quad is important to US even at the greatest threat to the national and international security. Next one, for the first time, Quad members talked about an inclusive club, and they spoke of centrality of ASEAN countries when it comes to the prosperity of Indo-Pacific. ASEAN is a group of 10 Southeast Asian countries, 10 countries, and these 10 small countries are said to play an important role when it comes to the prosperity and security of Indo-Pacific. The last one, Quad members spoke of their humanitarian assistance, which means they have already supplied 1.3 million vaccine doses of COVID-19 vaccines throughout the world. This is happening by the joint cooperation of 4 countries. That is designed by USA, manufactured by India, and is being supplied by the supply chain of Japan and Australia. Okay, this is how the vaccine rollout is happening when it comes to Quad members. What are the challenges? In today's article, in the Hindu newspaper, these challenges have been highlighted, and the author says that Quad is a grouping which has no common enemy. Why does he say that? Why does the editor say that Quad is a grouping with no common enemy? We will see it in challenges. First one, in the present meeting, Quad members chose not to name China directly. See, when we saw the objectives of Quad, we heard that the main objective of constituting a grouping called Quad was to oppose Chinese hegemony. In that case, in the present meeting, there was no name of China directly. Do you think that the objective of Quad is changing, or the foreign policy of the Quad members is being prioritized. We will see it in future videos. As and when we get more articles on this, we will have a video and we will update you on this. Second one, we have already discussed this. On Myanmar, India supports restoration of peace and not Western sanctions. Okay. USA, Japan and Australia asked their citizens to evacuate Ukraine but not India. See, you can see the differences in policies. First thing was China was not named. Second one, on the issue of Myanmar, India has a different view when it compares to all the three Quad members. When it comes to Russian annexation of or Russian invasion on Ukraine, all the three Quad members, that is USA, Japan and Australia, asked their citizens to return back. But when it comes to India, India felt there is no great threat to peace by Russia, and India did not call its citizens to evacuate Ukraine. Now you can see the four Quad members have different objectives and have different world views. China, Russia and Pakistan Taliban alliance is the greatest threat to Quad. See, Quad is basically a military and a diplomatic dialogue. When it comes to the alliance of these four members, that is China, Russia, Pakistan and Taliban, they are forming a power blocks. Power blocks versus Quad. Now, this situation is set to mimic the Cold War scenario. Cold War scenario. The entire world is getting grouped based on their foreign policy and military preferences. That is why we have China, Russia, Taliban and Pakistan on one side, and democratic nations of Europe and North America on the other side. That is basically USA on the other side. Next one, China and Russia did not attend the G20 summit last year. In the year 2021, China and Russia did not attend the G20 summit and proved that their worldview or their preferences when it comes to the military and the foreign policy is completely different from all other countries. India's Act East policy is the only policy that is dealing with the Indo-Pacific. India does not have an exclusive Indo-Pacific strategy. This becomes a drawback. India does not have an exclusive policy to deal with the Indo-Pacific or the Quad countries. What is the takeaway? What is the takeaway from the present discussion or the article that is mentioned in today's Hindu newspaper? Quad is a grouping with a different worldview. All the four countries of Quad have different worldviews when it comes to the prevailing situations. For example, with Myanmar and also Russia. Okay, next one. Nations promote their national interest. Every foreign policy discussion or a foreign policy decision is taken on the basis of their national interest when it comes to all the countries. This is the reason why we have four countries having four different worldviews, and there is no common enemy. See, the main purpose of constituting Quad was to counter Chinese hegemony, but in this year's meeting, China was not named directly, and Russia is being viewed by USA as an enemy. But when it comes to India, Russia and India are always the friends. So there is no common enemy in order to devise a strategy to deal with when it comes to Quad. Russia said Quad is a Western reaction to Chinese dominance and India is playing to the tunes of Western powers. This is a statement given by the Foreign Secretary of Russia, and he said Quad is a reaction to Chinese dominance, but India is dancing to the tunes of Western powers. This is a grave concern in order to deal with India and Russia relations. As usual, we'll see a question. Quad in Indo-Pacific has opportunities and challenges posed by the assertiveness of China and Russia. Explain how India can capitalize and emerge as a regional leader in near future. This is a possible question when it comes to GS2 and IR part. Okay. As usual, divide the question into two parts. That is, the first part, Quad in the Indo-Pacific has opportunities and challenges posed by assertiveness of China and Russia. Here, the question demands you to explain the role of China and Russia and the impact of their alliance along with Pakistan and Taliban, the impact of their secret alliance against Quad members. Against the Quad members. Explain how India can capitalize and emerge as a regional leader in the near future. India is aspiring to become the world leader, and in this context, dealing with Quad members and also asserting its national security and national interest, India can emerge as a regional leader. By this, we will end the discussion. Thanks a lot for watching. For more such enriching content, please consider subscribing to Legacy IAS Academy. Thank you.